Sorry about that.
So we should probably. Great. Right. So maybe you move this up slightly. Oh, okay. So everybody here. Okay, great. Everybody should be behind.
Hey, Michael. Feel good, man. Hey, there you go. It's like a long time, bro. Hey. Like 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. Thank you.
Be that way. Right? The camera behind you. They want to see it.
I'm giving him the job. I'm busy doing other things. I'm taking. No, I'm not covering it. I'm just doing this for my community. No, Robert's doing it. Hey. Oh, I didn't see. Yeah. But I'm a part of the community too.
Damn it. I brought the money.
Perfect color card.
Oh, that's important.
Yeah.
Good group. Sorry, you may have to move back.
Okay, that's okay. I'll move. Yeah, I'll move according. However you guys.
So we are trying to get everybody right in front, facing that camera. If you've got a sign, and even if you don't.
No, we're taking care of it. We got this. Let's do it. I'm here. Behind me.
Is it here?
Yeah.
Stand behind that man.
Speakers are going to be speaking. Not just me. I see a nice crowd of people here. That's
Hey, Jamie. Hey, Jamie.
people here, right?
Hey, Jamie. Again, I know.
Squeeze in a little bit if you can. Come on, haven't you guys done press conferences before?
Yeah.
Look, Pressy.
What's up, brother? Doing good, man. Doing good. Still trying to.
We're looking pressy.
Oh, there's a lot of people.
That does the job. Okay, so you get out of the way. Ready?
Come on, Ron, grab a sign.
4:10. Yep. So what number are you going to set it up?
Not much. Might as well.
Swings that camera, you're gonna ruin my view.
Huh? No. I'm good.
Check.
You're not looking at the groups.
It's vertical. It's vertical. It's horizontal.
All right, so we're cutting.
No.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you guys for coming out on such short notice. As we're here gathered here today, a lot of civic associations from Canarsie through Garrison Beach, through Dyke Heights, Manhattan Beach, Queens, everyone here is in the house to show their support for our community. And not just our community here today, but also for all communities that are like ours, our residential communities communities that have 1 and 2 family homes. The suburban community of New York City is our community where we stand here today. And we're sending a very strong message to Mayor Adams. Just 1 second.
This Mayor Adams speak louder.
Yes. So we're sending a very clear message today that our community is not for sale. The City of Yes initiative that he has under the City of Yes planning with the council members and so forth, we're not going to tolerate it. You can't take our community and just develop it into something that you feel that you want to do. The City of Yes needs to be pushed back. It needs to be put on the back burner, especially when we look at the administration as to what is happening. And it's not to throw shade on the mayor's administration, but to say, hey, listen to New Yorkers, listen to taxpayers, listen to homeowners. We're saying, fix your business first, and then let's go back to the drawing board. Listen to the communities. Preserve our communities. Preserve 1 and 2 families for future generations to enjoy. Yes. Right? Our community is not for sale, and today we come together, all spectrums, here today as we kick off this initiative, because next week is a very important week at City Council, where they're going to be holding those 2 hearings. One, and Paul Graziano, who is the leader in all of this, will explain to you further. But we're here today to kick it off, and tomorrow I believe would be Queens and followed by the Bronx and Staten Island. But we're here today to say, no, Eric Adams, you can't overdevelop. We know there's a housing crisis, but it's not on us. And if we really want to think of, what is causing this crisis, I think we need to look a little bit further. Because once that border continues to be open, there wouldn't be space for anyone. So let's be logical and let's be, true to why we are serving. So with that being said, I do want to call up my colleague, Assemblymember Michael Novikov, to share a few words, followed by Paul Graziano, and we have Steve and other civic members who are going to be speaking. So we just really want to say thank you for everyone coming out, but we're going to be chanting and, just stay tuned.
First of all, thank you so much to Assemblywoman Williams. Jamie, thank you so much for putting together this press conference. This is really, really important. I live in Manhattan Beach. I represent Manhattan Beach, Brighton Beach, Shipshead Bay, Midwood, and Gravesend. And yesterday I was visiting the Manhattan Beach community group meeting, and people were, one lady was literally crying and saying, I can't imagine, what this City of Yes is doing to us. I think we should all call it City of No. No, absolutely no. I personally live in a two-family house in an area where there are just 2-3-story houses. Sorry, and I just can't imagine a high-rise or a large building in my area. This is impossible. The city has to understand, our mayor and the city council has to understand one simple thing. New York is not the same. New York is a huge city and very, very diverse, very different. So even Brooklyn, we don't want to be downtown Brooklyn. We live in our lovely areas. We love the places we live at, and we don't want to change those places. There is so many lands that city owns, that state owns, that can be turned into, there's so many industrial areas that they can use for new developments, to build, new areas. We all understand the problem, we all understand the issues, but why are we the ones who will be paying for this? Why us? So we're saying no to this. And again, thank you so much to Assemblywoman Williams for putting together this very, very important press conference. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Say no. Say no. Say no. Say no. Let's hear it again. Say no. So my name is Paul Graziano, and I am an urban planning, historic preservation, zoning, land use consultant. I've been working with communities for the last 30 years, helping them to protect themselves from overdevelopment. And, you know, let's just say a few things here. First of all, this is not a plan. This is an extinction level event for our communities. The mayor knows this. The Department of City Planning, the City Planning Commission knows this, and many of the council people know this, and they are all in. They think this is great. Why do they think this is great? Well, we have a mayor who, frankly, is compromised. And that's a nice way of saying it. And so this plan is tainted. There is nothing normal about what they are proposing in this plan. Accessory dwelling units in your backyard, 5-story apartment buildings on your corner or on the middle of your block. There's an enormous list of things. The text for this, just, you know, not that you guys are going to read it, is 1,383 pages long. And this is just the third part. They had the carbon neutrality that was passed in December. That was the first part. Then the second part was economic opportunity. We got some of that changed, but most of it passed, and it's going to allow all kinds of commercial uses in our residential neighborhoods. And we're not even going to know for 5 or 10 years. And when things happen, people are going to say, how could this happen? And people are going to say, oh, well, that was that thing that passed. It's legal now. So now we're in a situation where the mayor and the Department of City Planning have stated low-density neighborhoods are the cause of the housing crisis. This is racial justice. Now, I'm going to say something. Tell that to the folks in Southeast Queens. Tell that to the folks in Southeast Brooklyn. Tell that to the folks in the North and Bronx, the homeowners who had to work 5 times as hard to become a homeowner. And now you're going to tell them, by the way, we're treating you all like vacant farmland from 100 years ago, and we're going to build apartment buildings wherever we want. This is for the real estate developers, period. End of story. That's what this is. This is for the donors and the friends of the mayor, his developer friends. They wrote this plan. They wrote it themselves. They gave it to the Department of City Planning, and that's what we have today. This is a wish list. The council is going to be hearing this 1 week from yesterday. Actually, on Monday and Tuesday. Monday is going to be a hearing only for the City Planning Commission and the council members. Tuesday will be for the general public. And we will tell you, for those of you who don't know, how to sign up to speak. Everybody needs to speak. Everybody. You will get 2 minutes. Write it for 1:45, but make it explicit, straightforward, and to the point, and tell your council members no. And not only tell them no, but if they vote for this, they're all out of office. Every single one of them. They're all running for re-election in 6 months, right? As soon as this is over, they're already going to be running for re-election. This is an existential situation. In the 30 years I've been doing this, we have never faced anything like this. We have been dealing with this now for 4 years. Assemblywoman Williams knows this. It was the planning together from Corey Johnson in 2021. Then it was the housing compact from the governor 2 years in a row. And now it's the City of Yes. This is all a plan to get rid of owner-occupied homes, right? Our housing. Who here lives in a house? Who here owns their own house? Right. It is to get rid of owner-occupied housing and replace it with market rate and luxury rental units. That is literally the plan. There is no affordability included in this. All it's going to do is get rid of home ownership, which is already endangered in New York City. We are the stakeholders and the stable communities. And by the way, tenants are also against this. It's not just homeowners who are opposed to this. This is not going to help people with their rents. This is not going to help people. It's going to raise the rent. It's not going to help people, excuse me, there's no way to quantify that except to say, and I'll give this as an example, Long Island City. Who's familiar with Long Island City here?
Yeah.
Long Island City, in the last 20 years, has been the fastest growing community in the United States. It has added 67,000 people and 30,000 units, and the rents have gone up from $3,300 a month to $5,400 a month. And the average income has gone from $54,000 to $97,000. Okay, this is going to do this everywhere. All of our communities will radically change within a 5 to 10 year period. And this whole idea that it's, quote, a little more housing in every neighborhood is propaganda and nonsense coming from this mayor. And I will say this straight out, every day we have a new thing coming. Every day. It has been quite an interesting month, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. There is no reason to take this proposal at face value. It is exactly what he is being accused of on a macro level. It is the biggest developers in the city, the biggest construction companies in the city, the biggest pro-housing advocates in the city, the biggest trade groups in the city. They are all with him and behind him in order to destroy our communities for their profit. Period. End of story. Full stop. We must fight this, and in order to fight it, you need to show up on Tuesday, and we will give that information at the end of the rally. So on that note, say no to the city of yes. Say no!
No!
No! No! And now I'm going to hand it over to someone who's even crazier than I am, and that would be Steve Barrison. Thank you.
Hey everybody, this is a rally. I know I was told it was a press conference, but a rally's totally different. That means we're all going to yell. You know how to yell?
Yeah!
Do you know how to say no?
No!
Let me hear you say no. No! Okay. Remember that. When we go to different communities around this area, they all say no. So we're here for each community, and you're going to say no. So when you go to the Gerritsen Beach property owners, what do they say?
No!
Good. I got a list to read, so pardon my reading, people out there. When you go to the Madison Marine Civic Association, what do they say?
No!
I don't even need the microphone. What? When you go to Bergen Beach Civic Association, what do they say?
No!
Pretty consistent. What do the Flatland Civic Club say?
No!
How about Fresh Creek Civic?
No!
Mill Basin Civic?
No!
Mill Island Civic?
No!
Marine Park Civic?
No!
Bay Improvement Group?
No!
Sheepshead Bay, Plum Beach?
No!
Pretty consistent, huh? How about when we go to the precinct councils? How about the 61st Precinct Community Council? What do they say?
No!
63rd Precinct Council? What do they say?
No!
69th Precinct Council?
No!
Community Board 15?
No!
Community Board 18?
No!
Dyker Heights Civic?
No!
Manhattan Beach Community Group?
No!
Coalition for Better Communities?
No!
The American Voices Matter?
No!
And what does Paul Graziano say?
No!
All right, there are groups all over the city that say the same thing.
Canarsie says hell no.
Hell no! Thank you.
And I'm from Bay Improvement Group, known as BIG, so down in Sheepshead Bay, we say big fat no. But okay, what I want to say to you quickly, Paul is the attorney leading this. Some of you may know me, I've done this for over 41 years, all over the city.
Thank you.
If you can make it to the other rallies, and Paul will send the list to anybody interested, I urge you to go. I'm going to try to get to some of them. This is all about visibility, especially you people out there at home watching on News 12. The mayor's wrong. Okay, I'm a real estate land use attorney. You do not rezone the entire city of New York at once. Every community has a ripple effect. Every one of us that's active knows when there's a change of one building or one house in your community, you worry about how it's going to affect the neighbors or a few blocks around or traffic. But every community is different, every situation's different. Imagine doing the exact same zoning change in the whole city of New York. It's like all of us wearing the same shoes. I'm looking around, nobody's wearing the same shoes. We're all different. And the mayor comes out with one pair, one size, and says, all right, everybody's gonna wear this, that's it. You have no choice anymore. It's the same thing with the zoning and communities, quality of life, family, character. New York City's been losing people, especially during COVID, and they're still losing. If you heard 1010 Wins yesterday, one of the big stories was New York City's the only major city in the country that's still losing people. This is a big reason why. Not listening to the people of New York, not listening to the communities. Instead, he's listening to Ribney. Who's Ribney? Real Estate Board of New York. So when you see Ribney anywhere, Ribney's rewriting the rules. They're rewriting the laws. They're rewriting the zoning. City planning, I said 25 years ago, they should be called the City Zoning Commission, because all they do is listen to the little Ribney voice in their ear and change the zoning. Now they're doing the entire city all at once. This is a disaster. Last thing, do not be fooled by the news reports about how we need new housing. You hear all these organizations popping up all over. Listen to your news, read in the newspapers. I don't care where you go. Every one of you has heard about we need new housing, right? Do we need new housing? No! I'll tell you a lot of reasons why. Number one, if you think we need new housing, there are tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of empty units right now in New York City. How do I know this? I have clients with buildings that are 50, 60, 70% empty. And I'm a little guy. What about the big attorneys with the big buildings? Because they're wealthy, my dear. They're wealthy. They can buy it. There are hundreds and hundreds of countries. Hundreds. There's 227 countries. There's hundreds of owners from different countries around the world that come here and buy co-ops and condos all over the city. And they don't even use them. Or maybe they use it once a year. Now that also adds to it. And finally, if people are leaving New York, and yet we have more housing built every single day, how come we need more housing? Well, because we don't really need more housing. We certainly don't have to change the zoning, because right now, without changing one word in one community, in one zoning section of the entire city of New York, we can build estimated 5 to 6 million. We talked about it. You probably have additional units, 5 to 6 additional, which probably makes about 10 or 12 million more people can live here without changing anything. So when you hear those we need more housing stories, no, that means Ribney is telling them, and they're getting paid or getting donations to campaign on that. So what do we say to the city? Yes? No! What do we say? No! I can't hear you. No! Let me hear it again. No! One more time. No! All right, thank you very much.
We'll also call up, and this was a really good vote when it came to District Community Board 18. It was an overwhelming no vote, so I just want to say our district manager, Sue Ann Partnell, was here to show her support. So thank you, and for doing a phenomenal job in our district and to really listening to our community. And we hope that you do keep your hand on the pulse as to what is happening. So thank you. You're welcome. Now I'd like to bring up Rob, who's the president of the Marine Park Civic.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming. Yeah, I'm not going to be as boisterous. What I want to say is that I moved into this neighborhood when I was 1 year old. I remember it, but as I got older, I stayed here, and a lot of my friends stayed here. And when I joined Marine Park Civic Association, the most important thing I can remember is the character of this neighborhood. And the character of this neighborhood is this park. 1 and 2 family homes, people around us like you. And that's why I stayed, and that's why I would hope that my children stay here. But we pick our character of our neighborhood. We're the ones who decide where we're gonna live and where we wanna live. They wanna tell us where we should live. If I wanted to live in Manhattan, I'd move to Manhattan. I wanna live in Marine Park. I wanna live in a residential neighborhood with people that could go out in the park and enjoy the park. I want to look outside and see a skyline when I open my front door. I want to sit in my backyard and not see a wall or another unit with someone changing through a window. These accessible dwelling units, they're talking about putting 800 square feet in your backyard. The build cost is probably $250 a square foot. You're talking about over $100,000. Who can afford that? The builders, the developers. When they say they're going to knock down a building and put up a new building, do you say we're going to build 8 $50,000 units? No, they're going to build 8 $600 to $1.1 million units that people can't afford. It drives us out of the neighborhood. And what we are seeing now, even with the most recent incident in Garrettson Beach with the migrants, we have outside people buying houses in our neighborhood and putting 25 migrants there, being paid by the city, and then after a night of partying, those migrants start stabbing each other on our neighborhood streets. That's what's gonna happen if we let these developers build these big buildings. So it has to be a no to a city of yes. We came to this neighborhood for a reason. We need to keep this neighborhood the way it is. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Jennifer, please, from Senator Prasad's office.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you for having me. We're here standing together. I represent State Senator Roxanne J. Prasad, and there were 2 letters in my poster, N-O. Can you hear me? N-O. So Senator Prasad had another engagement, but she asked me to send her greetings. And from day one, she said it's a resounding no. As many of the speakers said, it's not a fit for the district, it's not a fit for our neighborhood. And therefore, we stand together with you and all the organizers, including Assemblymember Jamie Williams, to send a strong message saying, not in this neighborhood. Senator Prasad says this proposal cannot be used in our district. Thank you very much.
So I think we're gonna.
This is what it's about.
There we go. I couldn't agree more. Absolutely.
Let's go.
So I think we're gonna wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for coming. And Assemblymember Williams, you're the best. Everybody knows it. Thank you. And I want to make this clear. We have over 200 organizations working together in the city right now, all over the city, fighting this. But we're up against billions and billions of dollars. We're up against basically an organized consortium. I was going to say organized crime consortium. An organized consortium of groups that are colluding with the mayor and with the Department of City Planning and with a number of the council members. When we have 51 council members in the city of New York, 51, we need 26 votes to kill this. And, you know, a lot of people have said, well, we need to put a pause, we need to put a halt. The problem is, I don't know if you remember this, but on the 25th, the City Planning Commission voted in favor of this at 1 p.m. And I was on a panel up in the Bronx that night with a bunch of other people. We had about 175 people at that event. And while we were on the panel, it was announced that the indictment had leaked and that he was being indicted. So 8 hours later, he had been indicted. Now, why do I say this? Because the way that the process works in New York is that if the City Planning Commission votes on it, the City Council must vote on it. If they don't vote on it, it's a yes. Wow. Okay? So anybody who says a pause or a halt, that doesn't help. Because if they don't take action, it becomes a yes. So we need 26 out of 51 minimum to win this vote. You need to be reaching out to every council person, because without this, we're done. We have very few options if this goes through, very few. And just for everybody to know, the vast majority of community boards voted against this, right? And yet the borough presidents, 4 out of 5 of them voted in favor. They didn't listen to their own communities and their own public, okay? That should tell you something. And they all, 3 of the 5 of them, not the Brooklyn borough president, but Queens, Manhattan, and Bronx, they all signed the mayor's statement about how great the city of Yes is at the press release after the City Planning Commission voted for this on September 25th. So it's really, yes, I'm on it. Thank you. So here's the thing. I was about to segue to that. Thank you. No, it's okay. The speaker last week put out a statement because she's gotten a lot of responses from her council members who are very concerned about this. And her response was to say, the zoning reforms are not enough. We need to also introduce a slew of bills to go with the zoning reform. So she didn't say, we're gonna stop this. She didn't say, we have to get rid of the city of yes. We're saying, we're gonna add to it, correct. We're gonna add to it. That's a problem. That's a real problem, because we don't have a housing crisis, we have an affordability crisis, which is a totally different thing, and that's controlled by the market. The market is dictating it, and it doesn't have to do with how many units are being built. It has to do with what landlords can extort from people after. Okay. So when you get rid of rent regulation and rent stabilized apartments, which is what's happened, over 500,000 of those apartments in the last 25 years, that's why we have an affordability crisis. I really don't care about what we call YIMBYs. Does anybody know what a YIMBY is? Yes, in my backyard. The YIMBY movement, which has started over the last 5 years, all backed by huge money from developers and tech people. And when I hear YIMBYs who are coming from Iowa and Missouri at age 23 and complaining that they're paying too much rent for their 800 square foot apartment on 14th Street and 6th Avenue, my response is, well, move to another part of the city where it's more affordable. Or go somewhere else, because you obviously can afford to go somewhere else, right? So for those of us who have lived here for a long time and have seen what's going on and understand, I think, the politics of this to some degree, some of us do here, it is critical that Adrienne Adams, the speaker, is told by all of you and all of your civic members and all of your neighbors that she needs to vote no. Why? Because there are people on the council who are saying, well, I'm waiting to hear what the speaker has to say. I follow what the speaker has to say. Not all the council people by any means, but some of them do. And the problem is the speaker seems to think that passing the city of yes and making some little changes and adding in her own legislation will then allow her to say that she has a victory. And her victory will be our city's death. It will be the end of our city. This is not a joke. This is not anything normal. We must make sure that these electeds are held accountable. And that's why you all need to show up. So let me give you the information.
Call her up.
Call her up.
Give us a number.
You can find all that information online, or
Take you 1 minute to
literally.
Every person here.
So here's what's going on this week. We have 2 rallies tomorrow. We have this one today. You guys are kicking it off, which is great. Tomorrow is the Bronx at 3 p.m., Queens at 5 p.m. We have one at Staten Island on Saturday. We have another one at City Hall Park at 1 p.m. on Monday. Please come if you can make it. 1 p.m. at the south end of City Hall Park. We did this in June. Jamie was there. A bunch of the other folks were there. We had about 150 people. We're expecting to have a lot more, and 150 is a good turnout. 1 p.m. Monday. Tuesday is the hearing. Go online to the City Council website. There is a link to sign up. You don't have to show up in person. Frankly, I've been telling people not to show up because it's a huge waste of time to sit there for 6 hours to speak for 2 minutes when the lobbyists are getting up there and having jokes with the council members. So do it by Zoom if you can't make it in person, but do it. Do it and do it and tell your friends to do it, because when the lobbyists and these organizations show up, they say they have all these people in support. How many members are there in the Marine Park Civic? 1,200 and change, and you represent an area with about 10,000 people. You don't represent 1,200 paying people. You represent a community of 10,000 people, and that's what you need to be telling. 10,000 voters. That's what you need to be telling the city council, because all they care about is getting reelected. Most of them. Okay?
34.
34, because 17 of them are term limited, including the speaker, who is auditioning for her next job. And that's why we have to put as much pressure as we can. So when anybody goes up and speaks, make sure you speak for your entire community. Make sure you get your friends to sign up and speak. Make sure you get other civic members to sign up and speak, because you ever hear of a group called Open New York? Okay, Open New York is a phony organization created about 5 years ago by developers and tech people. It's a nationwide movement to deregulate land use so that developers can build anywhere they want. Okay? They had 14 people speak at the City Planning Commission hearing. 14 people, including 3 that didn't identify themselves, including a lobbyist that works for them, and people who are paid by their office, did not identify themselves, just said, I live in this neighborhood and I want my rent to go down. So they were not being honest about who they were. Because those 14 people spoke, the City Planning Commission chair said, well, all of these people spoke in favor. But they were 14 people from one small but powerful organization. You have 1,200 families that are members. Get 100 people from your civic to turn out on Tuesday. That will be an avalanche, an earthquake. And that goes for all of your groups, all of them. Get people down there. Thank you.
Catch your question. One quick question.
1 or 2 questions?
Yeah, one quick question. Hi.
Sure.
Hi, my name is Christopher Leon Johnson from Independent Media.
Yep.
I want to know what's your take about this in the City Council, in the City Hall, housing conference was run by Rachel Fee, and Robert Hood NYC is pushing a redlining initiative inside the chamber.
Yes.
So we walk inside the building, they push it
It's
like they
called, I forget the name of it. We, underline the we is what it's called.
Yeah, so how you feel about
Rethink the we.
Mhm.
That's what it is. Rethink the we under redlined communities or something like that. Yes.
Yeah, how you feel about that? Like, how you feel about them?
How do I
trying to-
feel about that?
Yeah,
Well,
exploiting
so we all know the history of the United States. It's not a pretty history. There was a lot of redlining that went on. And what I've told people, and actually one of the votes that voted against this on the City Planning Commission, Leah Goodrich, she said something very interesting, because they keep framing this as racial justice. This is racial justice, which is ridiculous. Okay? But why do they say that? Because that's part of the propaganda, that we're doing this for the people who have been left out. Now, it sounds good. Yeah, exactly. So here we are, a very diverse group of folks, just like all the other neighborhoods that have been doing this, right? And Leah Goodrich had the bravery to say, you know, you really need to stop saying that this is for racial justice, because lots of brown and black people got up here and spoke in opposition to this. And I was really happy that she did that, because clearly this is not the New York of 1930. This is not the New York of 1960. This isn't even the New York of 1990. We are in a very different place today. And to be in a situation where folks have worked incredibly hard to get where they are and have finally gotten the equity that they deserve, to now put that in threat and come up with a phony reason for it, that's part of the narrative, right? So again, redlining was a big thing in the 1930s and the 1950s and the 1960s. It isn't in 2024. This is a historical artifact that they're using to try to justify a real estate scheme. And I will not have that. So I hope that answers your question. Yes. Other questions from the press? Okay. Okay. I'm gonna turn it over to...
So we're gonna go home. We're gonna go home and tell all your members. No, we're gonna tell your neighbors. No. You're gonna go home and email and phone call and tell everyone. All they gotta do is call Williams. Adams. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Although they could call Jumaane Williams. He's in favor of this, too. So, but you're gonna say no, right? We're here to say no. We're here to tell our neighbors. No. We're here to tell our friends. No. We're here to tell our local store owners. No. That's it. Right?
Just say no.
Just say no.
Just say no. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for coming.
Who do we send our Zoom, 2-minute Zoom to Adrian Adams or to Mayor Adams?
Speaker Adams.
Speaker Adrian.
To Speaker Adams. We're gonna
Adrian Adams, Speaker Adrian Adams. We say reach out to all 51 council members, but Adrian Adams is the speaker, and she's the one you need to. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
And an email box.
All right, perfect.